A sensor that will not read is almost never a broken sensor. 9 times out of 10, it is a wiring problem. The device is fine. The PLC is fine. But the two were never connected the way the input card expects. So in this video, I will show you how to wire any sensor to a PLC the right way. We will count the wires, 2, 3, and 4. We will power the sensor and land its signal on the input card. We will match NPN and PNP to the input type, which is where most people go wrong. And we will wire an analog 4 to 20 milliamp loop. Let's start at the wire. Quick note before we dig in. This is from PLC Simulator, where you can wire sensors to a virtual PLC and practice everything in this video free, right in your browser. No panel, no hardware, no smoke. The link is in the description. Click the link in the description to try it free. Now, back to the wiring. Start by counting the wires coming out of the sensor. That count tells you almost everything. A 2-wire sensor is the simplest. It sits in series with the load, like a switch, and the same 2 wires carry both its power and its signal. Easy to wire, but it always lets a small leakage current through, even when off. A 3-wire sensor is the one you will meet most. Brown is plus 24 volts. Blue is 0 volts. And black is the switch signal. The brown and blue power the sensor. The black does the actual work. A 4-wire sensor just adds a second output, often a normally open and a normally closed signal, or 2 channels. More on the colors in the wiring chart on screen. Now wire it. For that 3-wire sensor, brown goes to plus 24 volts and blue goes to 0 volts. That powers the sensor. It is alive and watching for its target. Then the black signal wire lands on the PLC input terminal. That is the wire the PLC actually reads. When the sensor sees its target, it switches the black wire, and the input card sees the change. So the rule is simple. 2 wires feed the sensor. 1 wire reports to the PLC. Get those 3 landings right, and the sensor is connected. But there is a catch on that signal wire, and it is the #1 mistake. Here is where most sensors that will not read actually fail. A PNP sensor switches the signal wire to plus 24 volts when it detects. It sources current out. An NPN sensor switches the signal wire to 0 volts. It sinks current. And the PLC input card has a matching type. A sinking input wants current pushed into it. A sourcing input pushes current out. The rule is that they must be opposites. A PNP sourcing sensor needs a sinking input. An NPN sinking sensor needs a sourcing input. Mismatch them and the sensor still lights up, but the PLC input never turns on because the current has nowhere to go. I have a full NPN versus PNP video, sinking and sourcing, both wired out, linked in the description. Watch that one if this is new. Not every sensor is a simple on or off. A pressure or level transmitter sends an analog 4 to 20 milliamp signal, and it wires differently. The common type is 2-wire, loop-powered. The same 2 wires carry the sensor's power and its current signal. The PLC supplies the loop, and the transmitter regulates the current between 4 and 20 milliamps to report its reading. Now, the part people skip. Analog signals are small, so noise matters. Use shielded twisted pair cable. Ground the shield at one end only, usually the panel, never both, or you create a ground loop. Keep the analog run away from motor and drive cables. And to actually test that loop, I have a separate video on testing a PLC analog input, also linked below. Skip the shielding and you get a jittery reading that looks like a failing sensor, but is really just wiring. So here's what to walk away with. Count the wires first. That tells you 2-wire, 3-wire, or 4-wire. Power the sensor with its supply pair, then land the signal wire on the input. Match NPN and PNP to a sinking or sourcing input, because opposites attract and a mismatch is the silent killer. And wire analog loops with shielded cable, grounded at one end. Get those right, and almost every dead sensor disappears. Now, go make it concrete. If you want to wire sensors to a PLC hands-on, click the link in the description to start free at plcsimulationsoftware.com. No hardware, no install. Subscribe, new video every Tuesday. See you in the next one.